guys. Welcome back. This is By the Book, and we're your married relationship coaches. I'm Sent.
I'm Sil.
And we are talking about Married at First Sight, Season 15, Episode 9. But this is a sidebar.
Yes.
So we're talking about Krysten and Mitch.
Mm-hmm.
And I think just kind of over the course of this season, and then also here in the after party that we just talked about a little bit ago, Justin mentions the fact that Mitch is 41 and stuck in his ways.
Yes.
And one of the things that we highlight a lot of times when we're talking about them is not only is he, 41 years old, but he's been single for 8 years. Which spurs a conversation between my husband and I that we would like to talk to you guys about, which is, can you be single for just too long? What does that do to a person?
Obviously, in Mitch's case, it didn't do him any service. Matter of fact, obviously, it's doing him a disservice because in Mitch's world, it's been Mitch's world. And so it's just been him. He's been able to formulate this ideology, and he's been able to say, hey, this is what I like and this is what I don't like. This is the politics I agree with. This is what I don't agree with. Mm-hmm. And so in Mitch's world, he's king, and whatever he says is the gospel. It's 100% true. And so here he is talking about he wants to be married, but no one is really gonna fit into Mitch's world, not this world that he's built up. And so he's been doing this for 41 years. However long, he's 41 years old. Who knows?
Fresh out the womb, being an environmentalist.
Let's just say he started at 20. You know what I mean? So 21 years, this has been formulating.
Yeah.
And so this is who he is. He's pretty much is baked in at this particular point. And until he gets a chance to really get to see himself from the outside of Mitch's world, then it's not going to be any type of changing because for him, this is right. He's authentic to himself.
So it's tough for me to answer this question because, of course, everybody is going to be an individual and it's going to affect everybody differently. Mm-hmm. But I do see the disadvantage of being single for a very long time. And 8 years, I think, is a very long time.
Yeah.
And contrast that with the fact that a lot of times I tell people who are in just like recurring relationships, like they go from one to the next, to the next, to the next, and they never really give themselves the time to breathe.
Yeah.
I'm telling them, you need to be single for a while, because you need to learn yourself. You need to be okay with yourself. You need to be okay with the idea that you don't have to have a significant other in order to understand what you don't have to accept from someone. Mm-hmm. Because in the people who I'm talking about, it's usually a situation where they keep getting in bad relationships or they keep getting in relationships with the same problems. So it's like they're dating the same person, just, with a new look and a new name, but they're doing the same things. And so it's like, okay, if you want to do something different, just take a step back from this. Don't feel like you got to always have somebody to go out with on Saturday night. Maybe you won't. Maybe it'll be like that for months or for a year or for a couple of years until you realize this is what is worth a relationship for. But I'm not going to disturb my peace that I've gotten by myself for some fool that's over here acting like these last 12 people that I dated. Yeah. No, I'm not doing that anymore. But I think when you get in a cycle of just, I've got to be in a relationship, it's unhealthy.
Yeah.
But likewise, I suppose it can be unhealthy to be single for so long and then decide, especially in a case like Mitch's, I want to be married.
Yeah. Well, let me throw a little Bible in this.
Okay.
All right. So in Genesis, God says to Adam, it's not good for man to be alone. All right. We read that. We heard it at least, but many of us don't understand it. And so in other words, Adam, if I leave you alone too long, you're going to become self-centered. You're going to become selfish. You're only going to do things that is pleasing to you instead of learning how to do things that can be serving and pleasing to someone else. And so with that, Mitch has been in his world too long.
Yeah.
Too long, because it doesn't even resemble reality. You know, all of this, you can't even flip houses. I don't care what your ideology is, but to feel that passionate about someone's dream. This is not your dream, Mitch. This is the woman who you married. And so you take her with her dreams, and just like she's taking you with your dreams of cleaning up the whole world. And that's nothing wrong with neither one of them. And so being like, okay, yeah, I never got it, but I get it's your dream and I support you. And stop being so wrapped up in his own head, in his own world, in his own ideology. Stop being selfish, Mitch. Stop being self-centered, Mitch, because it's not good for man to be alone, especially for you with your 8 years.
Yeah, I mean, I see, and again, that one's tough for me too, because I just feel like I'm okay with Mitch being as passionate as he is about what he's passionate about.
Yeah.
That doesn't speak to whether or not I think he should ever get married, because I don't.
Yeah.
But but I get that that's going to clash with Krysten's dream.
Yeah.
And I don't think that he necessarily has to be like, okay, I can accept that and you can accept me. I think he can be staunchly opposed to that, and that be a breaking point for them. I'm okay with it. Yeah. Like, now he might run into someone else whose passion is not something like that, and who he can get on board with, because it doesn't fly in the face of his ideology.
Yeah.
But is that because he's been single for 8 years? You know, has he just been single for too long?
There's no compromise. So yeah, I would say yes.
Yeah.
There's no compromise. I mean, I can see if it was something like, if she said, my lifelong dream is to become a stripper or to become a porn star or something like that.
Now, he probably wouldn't care as much about that. Because it doesn't fly in the face of his ideology, though.
Yeah.
Like, she's using what the Lord gave her to... Forgive me for this. But she's using what she got to you know, sustain herself. Yeah. He may honestly not find that as offensive as flipping homes and taking them away from poor families.
Yeah. Okay.
I could see it. I could see he's a weird kind of guy.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, in general, even when we're not talking about someone as bizarre as Mitch, I guess the question is, can you be single for too long? Is 5 years too long? Is 8 years too long? Mm-hmm. I think it depends on what it does to you. If it turns you into a Mitch type of person, or if you can just be focused on, say, bettering yourself for that period of time, whether you were trying to become healthier, live a healthier lifestyle, or you were into something, you know, be it politics or religion or, you know, whatever the case may do. And this is what you wanted to focus on for that period of time. But I think it's important when you decide to get into a relationship, there's some adjustments that you have to make mentally, because you have to understand that you're going to have to accommodate someone else's lifestyle.
Yes. So
there's probably a line in between, like, that healthy amount of I'm by myself, I'm bettering myself, I'm gaining my own peace. And I'm so heavy on, like, gaining your own peace before you walk into another relationship that it feels weird for me to even speak that, you know, you can be single for too long. Because I think you need to be single as long as you need to be single to understand going forward into another relationship where your boundaries are.
Well, I think, again, if you've been alone, you've been by yourself so long, where you're the center of your own universe, then I think that that's an issue. Now, if you've been alone with the mindset of, my last relationship, I need time to heal. You know, however long that takes, I need to heal and get myself ready to be a husband, to be a wife, or whatever. Then I think that's different. But if you have been in your world and you are the center of that world and you are always right in your world and there's no room for compromise with anything else, then that's a problem.
Yeah.
With that, because you are selfish, you are self-centered, and you can't even see that giving a woman a dirty sack to put her trail mix in is problematic, and you can't back off of that. It's something wrong.
I don't think that that's normal behavior though for even someone who's been single for 8 years. I think he's just really far out there, bizarre. Mm-hmm. Would you generally say if someone, not that anybody would ever really say this, but if they were to say to you, you know what, I think I'm going to be single for about 8 years. I'm not going to date for 8 years. I'm committed to that. Would you say to them, that's too long?
I would say, what are you hoping to accomplish? What are your goals? Why? Okay. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what are you hoping to do with this 8 years, mm-hmm. and see if it's feasible. If there's something, if that's what he or she is trying to accomplish, if it's going to pay off for them in the end. Yeah.
See, my approach to that is different. I'm all about, that's great. You can be single. Because I don't know, I'm of the school of thought where I'm like, look, be okay by yourself.
Yes. I love
forever if you have to.
Forever?
Yes. I don't feel like you have to seek a mate. Yeah. I just don't. I mean, maybe that's because I'm a woman and God said that it's not good for man to be alone. He didn't say that about us.
Man.
But he didn't say woman. He said man. He could have said woman.
Well, woman wasn't here. We're turning this into a Bible study, but go ahead.
Anyway, I think it's good to be single as long as you want to. And I also think it's good to not be necessarily in pursuit of a significant other. Mm-hmm. So if it takes a long time before the right person should come along, so be it. Yeah. Maybe they come along, maybe they don't come along. I'm all about not making a significant other or a marriage the focal point of your life.
Yeah, I get that. And don't get me wrong, I do embrace people being in their singleness in order for them to discover who they are, their likes and their dislikes, what they want to accomplish, their goals and such. However, I still think that you can be alone way too long. And if you're the center of your own world, again, for instance, let's just say I know someone who's pretty close to me, and she's been alone for a very long time, and she's in her 80s now. And so it's always been her way or the highway. And here she is, she's in her 80s, and she's a lot of times unwilling to compromise with certain things because and she doesn't, and she's in her 80s, and so she needs help. But even in that, she doesn't want to compromise to get the necessary help that she needs.
You think that's because of relationships, though?
I think she's been alone a long time. And so when you don't have that aspect of someone challenging you or pushing you to compromise with certain things, it could be a detriment.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said earlier, I think that the benefit in being by yourself is recognizing what's worth disturbing your peace. So if I'm single for a long time and I'm good, I'm working the job that I want and making the money that I want, and I'm doing the entertaining things that I want, the extracurriculars, I'm visiting or spending time with my family when I feel like it, then only somebody very good for me, very special to me, can find their way into my life and make themselves a part of it, because I'm at peace. I'm doing so great, and I'm not looking for some crazy person in some weirdo club someplace. I'm good by myself.
Yes,
and so however long that takes, I feel like it's okay. I feel like Mitch was just a weird guy anyway. Maybe that 8 years just baked in some more weirdness, but I feel like that's just kind of who he was. I don't feel like it made him into what he is today. So I think, be single for 8 months, 8 years, 18 years, be single however long it takes until somebody comes along that's worth making you not single.
So you think Mitch is just an anomaly? He's an outlier.
And I don't think it's because the 8 years. I don't think it's because he's 41 years old. I just think he's a strange cookie.
I think it's part of it. I really do. I think is all things. I think it's all relative.
So you think if he was single for just 1 year, he would have gotten into a relationship and been normal? Because I don't.
I do. I really do. Because it shows a person how to compromise, how to work with someone, and take in their ideas to blend with their ideas. And see, it's been far too long. It's just been Mitch. And so again, in his world, hey, this is right.
Yeah,
and it's like,
I get what you're saying. I mean, I don't wholly disagree with that, but I think again, Mitch is just a odd, strange cookie, and I think he was going to be weird no matter what. Like I said, I think that 8 years could have like baked it in a little bit harder, but Mitch was Mitch.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. Let us know what you guys think. I'm sure most people think that there is some limit to being single before you start to go stir crazy.
Yeah.
I'm on the far end of that spectrum, I think, in terms of time. But it's got to be some balance in that you're by yourself long enough to know yourself and to be secure with yourself.
Yes.
Versus just being an old cat lady, I guess, that won't compromise with anybody. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? Here's the thing. I really think like in developmental years, that teens into your 20s or whatever, I think that those are some really good years for you to be alone and to discover who you are. But after that, when the maturity begins to kind of like set in, then you
should be in a relationship.
I didn't say you should be, but I am saying that in order for you or for a person not to be so self-centered, someone has to be in this picture with you. You have to learn how to work around someone. You have to learn how to listen to someone. You have to learn how to compromise with someone. And I think that's that. Yeah.
I mean, relationships you get experience from relationships.
Yeah.
But once you've had some experiences, you might just need to be alone for a while and get your life together.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Figure out you.
Yeah.
So guys, let us know what you think. We're kind of all over the place on this point, but not so much in agreement.
No.
I do understand your point. I'm not, like I said, I'm not totally disagreeing with you.
Good.
I just,
that means I won.
Mainly it's Mitch. He's the problem.
I won. Well, like I said, Mitch is way far past where the buses run anyway, so he's...
Like, share, comment, subscribe, guys. Let us know what you think. Is it possible to be single for too long or no? We'll talk to you guys soon.
Bye.